played quite well first game, but unlucky to lose really. Got done by the sucker punch, and then it was a harder fought draw at Wimbledon. We were ghastly at Oxford, but then I thought they played quite well at home last Saturday, so fingers crossed for another 3 points tonight.
First game against Scunthorpe, I thought we were pretty unlucky. Second game, Wimbledon, I thought we were under pressure for probably most of the game. Came back into it in the last 20 minutes. Bayliss was quite good that game. Oxford was, to put it simply, absolutely dire. And then Plymouth. Okay, wasn't it? Some signs, some encouraging signs with the front four. You can see what he's trying to do now. Bit disappointed that Max wasn't in the side. But you can certainly see what he's trying to do, and it'd be interesting away from home because I think they're set up to counter-attack with the pace they've got, so fingers crossed if he plays the same front four tonight it clicks and gels. Well, in the prediction league I've gone for 1-0 Cov. I think it'll be well, I think we'll just edge it. They've not started brilliantly, but I think, well, we haven't really started greatly, but last game the win should give us a bit of momentum going into today. Difficult, isn't it? They've got so few fans. We've got a terrible record here, absolutely terrible record. I think we've only won 1 in 10. I saw Jim Brown's stats, and we don't win here very often. So to be honest, probably if you give me a point now, I'd probably take it. But it kind of feels like with having as many fans as they've got, we maybe could sneak 3. So fingers crossed.
The latest situation is that the current owner, Owen Oyston, has a debt outstanding of £25 million to the minority shareholder Valerie Bellicon. The club is realistically a shambles. No training facilities, recently lost a very good manager, and just run day to day on a shoestring, and is in a real mess.
I mean, you look at the amount of people who go in, most of them are probably the older fans who've been there for years and years, and I feel like we're in danger of losing a generation of football fans. We just need the football club back with who it belongs, with the fans.
We've been boycotting games for probably 3 years now, some people longer than that, but a genuine out and out boycott has been in the past 3 years. There are, you know, far fewer fans inside the ground than outside the ground at times when we have protests outside it. You know, football will die without fans in the game, no matter how much money you throw at it. You need supporters inside a stadium, simply to create the atmosphere.
The highest priority for us is a change in ownership at our football club. And we want an entire change. We want an independent regulator in the game instead of the Football League and the FA, because they've let clubs like ourselves and Coventry just be torn apart by their owners and used as a plaything. So to get a systematic change so that the fans are put first again and not money.
It's now 12:15. I've just got back to a hotel in Llandudno where I'm staying for work tonight. Yeah, it was rubbish. My hotel does at least come with this large bottle of something. Sherry? Don't know. I don't know what that was, but it was disgusting. Yeah, a pretty terrible performance all around tonight. 2 goalkeeping errors, absolutely, but let ourselves down all across the pitch. So I'm gonna go to bed now because I'm really tired, and then we'll reflect on it more tomorrow. So yesterday was a bad day by all accounts, capped off by getting on the head by a seagull. So just reading Robin's overview of the game, or thoughts on the game. We were poor, second best, and didn't create anything. It looked like it was the first time Bakayoko had been out there. It looked like he wasn't playing with any thought whatsoever, which is unusual. Clearly I don't know him that well yet and his personality yet, but I hope I don't see that side of his personality again. The thing is, we started playing in a 4-5-1 formation. It clearly didn't work. I was sat there at a loss as to why we weren't changing it. Disappointing to lose Max in the first couple of minutes. I think the idea was playing 4-5-1, Max would hold the ball up pretty well and bring in Shipley and Thomas in an attacking sense. But we lost Max. We don't know the extent of that injury yet. And Bakayoko came on, and to come on as a substitute and to get substituted off again before the end of the game says a lot about his performance. It was not good. I'm really worried about us up front. I don't think we had a single shot on target yesterday, and although Thomas did look good, he still didn't threaten the Blackpool defenders. They were much better than us last night, and that's disappointing because they are favourites for relegation. The supporters were telling us before the game how they thought they were going to lose fairly heavily. I don't think anybody had a really good game. At push, you could say Dominic Hyam had a fairly reasonable game. We're only 4 games in and we've got 4 points on the board. That's not a great start, whereas if we'd have come out yesterday with 7 points after 4 games, you'd have taken that at the start of the season. We need to be trying something different. I think that performance last night will give Robbins the spark he needs to try something different on Saturday and give players, possibly Grimmer, possibly Alassani, give them a chance and see what they have to offer, because it cannot get any worse than that. So let's see what happens. The most enjoyable part of the game last night was a seagull having a fight with another seagull on the end of the pitch closest to the away fans whilst the game was being played down the other end. Tells you a lot about how enjoyable the game was. Blackpool scored 2 really lucky goals, but saying that, they played okay actually, and their 2 defenders, Daniels and Tilt, had Bakayoko in the pocket all night long. You know, there wasn't a ball that was played to Bakayoko where he was able to challenge for it and win that challenge. And if he did get behind, he was offside. Things can only get better. So next up is Gillingham. They've had an okay start. They've come away with 6 points from the first 3 games, but they're playing Sunderland tonight, which is the Wednesday night. So let's see how they get on with that game. Just before we go, I want to give a quick shout out to Ashley Ray Brooks, who watches Sky Blue Social every episode. Thank you very much for tuning in, and that's the end of today's episode. We'll see you next time. Please don't forget to subscribe, share and like the video.